Welcome, it's Galway Plate Day. I have just gone for a couple of fun bets in it, two outsiders. I'll come to them in a second. I thought there's a couple of other interesting outsiders running, one in Goodwood and one in Sandown. Now look, they're big massive prices, outsiders of the fields, but I just want to give them a mention because they're worth following. If it's not for today, maybe in the future. But right, we'll start with let's start with the Galway Plate. The 𝗵𝗲 each way 25-1. I just think he's unexposed over fences. He was a really good winner in Navan when he absolutely bolted up in, what's that big chase called? Was it the Tri-Town, or what do they call it? One of them big races anyway, big handicaps. And yeah, he annihilated them, and I think he's very, like, it's hard to gauge how good he is over fences yet because he hasn't really been seen. I think he's been on the flat and over hurdles. So back over fences in a race at a time when the stables had a few winners, I'll give him a point each way at 25-1. And 𝗵𝗲𝗄, I think he's really interesting, 𝗵𝗲𝗄. He can sit hopefully back from the pace, and he travels really well. He has plenty of experience as well, going right-handed. He's jumped around fairy houses, and I think in Punchestown, he's definitely been around fairy house and things like that. So although he's the novice coming into the handicap, he's been second in an Arkle. He has some really decent form, and I think if Keith can just take his time and stay out of battle, he could definitely run a big race. Would he be the strongest stayer at this trip? I don't know, but he could travel round in behind in his comfort zone. Maybe that would help him get it. Let's see what happens. Tough race, definitely a bit of a lottery. You need a lot of luck and running, but definitely enjoy them. And then in the 225 at Goodwood, or the 150 at Goodwood, Luminous Light, a point each way at 8-1. This is by 𝗲𝗏. It's completely unexposed in my opinion. It's only had a handful of runs, and I think Mark Johnson putting it in this race screams that it definitely really fancy it. So I'll go a point each way at 8-1. Now there is some very progressive horses here at the top of the betting, but this horse is 8-1, and I'll give him an each way shout. And then in the 225 at Goodwood, this race a bit of a conundrum. Benefit could be interesting at 10-1. Also the French filly who's over could be interesting. So have a look at them. They're nice prices. Benefit steps up and trips. She's been tried against some decent fillies the last couple of runs. She did get her win in between, but in York the last day, maybe wasn't her perfect setup. And in Haydock the time before her win, she was third to two good fillies again. So definitely interesting. Benefit the 225. Now the Galway hurdle tomorrow, lads. We'll give a quick mention on it. I want to have a further dig into it, but I didn't think it was a vintage renewal by any means. I thought my mate Mozzie's interesting. He's very good going right-handed. He has great form at the likes of Punchestown and places like that. He was really impressive winner of a bumper going right-handed. He really bolted in. He is a progressive horse. You'd be disappointed if he couldn't run a really good race in this. Yeah, I need to go through it. I went through it there just as a kind of first glance. Hard to gauge. Ballyadam's there, back class. He's 10-1, been out of form though. But it just shows you that it's probably a poor race that he's so close up the market with his recent form. Oh yeah, we'll get into it in a minute. At first glance, a little each way on my mate Mozzie, a point each way on my mate Mozzie. Right, these other interesting horses at massive prices today. Have a look in Goodwood. In the 410, 𝗏𝗏𝗆. 𝗏𝗏𝗆 is the 25-1 outsider of the field. She is better than this mark. Can she show it today? I don't know. This is a deep race. The William Haggis filly, C Speedwell, is very interesting at the top of the betting. But 𝗏𝗏𝗆 at 25-1, lads, just keep an eye on her because she is going to improve. Whether it's today or another day, it'll be in the future. And then Espirito in Sandown in the 620 at 18-1. He's the outsider of the field. He has been disappointing, but there was one run, lads. He looked a nice little type of horse. He had one good run in Chepstow. He's disappointed since. He's got the wind up. Someday he will show you his talent because he has got it. Can he do it today? I don't know. But they're Espirito's 18-1, 𝗏𝗏𝗆's 25-1. Make up your own mind if you'd like to back them. I'm going to have a small little few bob just for fun because of the prices. And I do know 𝗏𝗏𝗆 will step up, whether it's this today or a month's time or 2 months' time or next year, but she'll definitely be a horse to follow. Right, Benefit, Goodwood, interesting at 10-1, Luminous Light 8-1, My Mate Mozzie tomorrow in the hurdle, the Jam Man in the Galway Plate, and Gabanaco in the Galway Plate, both each way. Look, it's a bit of a lottery, that race. Enjoy. We've a big day on the Patreon service. I am fingers crossed. I really fancy a horse in Red Car. Put him out as a 7 points win. I really fancy my banker in Galway, and I've one horse in Perth that's ran our screamer the last day and is well handicapped in old form. So yeah, let's get a really solid result today. All right, bet safe, bet fun, and enjoy the sport.